Mindset AI presents
The Singer in the French Café, a tale of compassion and life-saving kindness.
The Café de Ombres crouched quietly on the left bank, half hidden beneath a striped awning faded by years of rain and smoke. Inside, the walls were stained with time, sepia photographs of forgotten singers, curling posters from before the war, and mirrors clouded by breath and memory. The air smelled of cheap wine, strong coffee, and Gauloise cigarettes. Paris in the 1950s was learning how to live again. Laughter returned cautiously, as if afraid it might be taken away. People gathered not because they were happy, but because they needed warmth, light, and proof that life still lingered in small places. On a narrow wooden platform near the back stood Élise Moreau, her hands clasped tightly around the microphone stand. She waited for the pianist's cue, heart pounding, knowing that for the next hour, this room would belong to her. When Élise began to sing, conversation softened into silence. Her voice was not loud, nor was it flawless, but it carried something deeper, an honesty that settled gently into the chest like a familiar ache. She sang chansons of longing and lost love, of empty apartments and letters written but never mailed. Her black dress was simple, her shoes worn thin, yet she carried herself with quiet dignity. She sang as if she were telling secrets rather than performing. As the melody unfolded, her gaze wandered instinctively across the room. She met smiling eyes, tired faces, couples leaning together. Then, in the far corner, she saw him. An older man sat alone beneath a dim lamp, his posture rigid, his coat still buttoned. His glass of wine sat untouched, its surface unbroken. He did not look like a man enjoying music. He looked like a man waiting for something to end. Élise's breath caught for a fraction of a second, though her voice did not waver. Something about the man unsettled her, a heaviness that seemed to pull the light inward. His face was lined, not merely with age, but with something sharper, recent grief, raw and unresolved. He stared at the wall behind her, not at the stage. His hands were folded neatly, as if he had dressed carefully for an appointment rather than a drink. She had seen lonely patrons before, students, widowers, drifters, but this was different. This man carried finality with him, like a sealed envelope in his pocket. Without understanding why, she felt an urgent need rise within her. Don't leave like this, she thought. Not tonight. For the next song, Élise made a quiet decision. She softened her tone, slowed the tempo, and let warmth seep into every phrase. The lyrics became playful, almost teasing, about youth pretending to be wise, about old hearts learning new steps. She angled her body slightly toward the corner, though she did not stare. Instead, she sang around him, as if building a small circle of sound meant only for one listener. She let herself smile just a little, then more openly, allowing kindness, not performance, to show. Her eyes met his at last, briefly but clearly. For a long moment, nothing changed. He remained still, unmoving, like a statue carved from sorrow. Then something subtle shifted. The man blinked, as though waking from a long and exhausting dream. His shoulders loosened. His folded hands separated, resting on the table instead. His eyes, which had been hollow moments before, glistened faintly in the cafe light. As Élise reached the final refrain, she smiled fully now, warm, genuine, unguarded. A smile offered freely, without expectation. The man's lips trembled. Slowly, hesitantly, as if he no longer trusted the motion, they curved upward into a small, fragile smile. It was not joy, nor even happiness, but it was life returning, if only briefly. Élise felt her chest tighten. She held the last note longer than planned, then let it fade into silence. Applause filled the room, but she heard only her own heartbeat. When the set ended, Coins clinked into a saucer and glasses were raised. Compliments floated toward her like smoke. Élise bowed, thanked the pianist, and wrapped her coat around herself. She searched briefly for the man, but his corner was empty. Only the untouched glass remained, a faint ring of condensation marking his place. Outside, the cold air bit at her cheeks as she walked home along quiet streets. She climbed the narrow stairs to her small apartment, humming under her breath, tired but content. She thought of the man once more as she set water to boil. Then the kettle whistled. Tomorrow waited, and life, as it always did, moved on. Nearly 20 years passed. Élise's hair grew threaded with silver. Her voice deepened, richer now, seasoned by time. She sang less often, taught occasionally, and lived a modest, peaceful life. One afternoon, a letter arrived. Thick paper, formal script, a lawyer's seal pressed into wax. At first, she thought it was a mistake.
Mademoiselle Élise Moreau, you are requested to attend my office regarding a matter of inheritance.
She laughed aloud in her quiet kitchen. She had no wealthy relatives, no secret benefactors. Still, curiosity stirred. And something else, a distant echo of recognition she could not quite place. The lawyer's office was orderly and solemn, lined with books and heavy furniture polished by generations of careful hands. The man himself was kind but reserved, his expression measured. He opened a folder and spoke a name, Henri Beaumont. The memory struck Élise like a sudden chord. The old café where she used to sing, the corner table, the smile. The lawyer explained patiently. Monsieur Beaumont had passed away peacefully months earlier. He had left detailed instructions, explicit and unambiguous. Élise listened, stunned, as he described accounts, properties, and holdings beyond anything she had imagined.
You are the sole beneficiary.
The fortune included a chateau nestled among vineyards in the south of France, its stone walls warmed by centuries of sun. There were paintings, letters, journals, and land that stretched farther than her eyes could follow. Élise felt overwhelmed, almost frightened by the weight of it all.
But why me?
The solicitor folded his hands.
Monsieur Beaumont had no children. His wife Marguerite passed away 3 days before he visited the café where you were performing.
Élise's breath caught in her throat. The lawyer continued softly.
He went to the Café des Ombres to have one last glass of wine before...
His voice trailed off, but what he was going to say next was very obvious. At the end of the will, written in elegant, steady handwriting, were a few final words.
Because you made me smile.
With some difficulty at first, the lawyer explained the rest. That night, Henri Beaumont had intended to end his life. Instead, he went home. The next day, he took a walk. Then another. He lived 19 more years. He restored the chateau. He funded hospitals, schools, and quiet charities. He traveled modestly, spoke little of his grief, and never remarried. But neither did he forget the woman who reminded him, briefly, gently, how to smile again. Months later, Élise stood on the chateau grounds, cicadas singing in the warm air. The past felt close here, stitched into stone and soil. She walked slowly, her fingers brushing ivy-covered walls. She thought of that single evening in Paris, of how small the moment had seemed. She understood now that she had not saved Henri Beaumont with talent or beauty or brilliance. She had saved him by seeing him, by offering kindness without knowing it was needed. And she realized how many lives might turn, quietly, on moments just as small. In the years that followed, music returned to Élise's life in a quieter, more reflective way. At dusk, when the heat of the day softened and the shadows stretched long across the chateau grounds, she would sometimes open a window and sing. Her voice was older now, shaped by time and memory, but it carried the same warmth it always had. She sang of Parisian cafés, of winter evenings and half-forgotten faces, of moments so small they seemed insignificant at the time. Yet she knew better now. She had learned that a smile offered freely, a song sung with kindness, or a moment of genuine attention can reach farther than we ever imagine. That the smallest of gestures, made without expectation or reward, can alter the course of another person's life in ways both profound and surprising. And so, as her voice drifted into the evening air, Élise sang not just for herself, but for anyone who might be listening, carrying with her a truth worth remembering. Even the simplest kindness can change a life. If you enjoyed this tale, leave a comment, a like, and subscribe. It would mean the world to us.